Welcome back to another episode of Horror, Whores, and Other Horrible Topics. We're your favorite whores, here to discuss horror, gay shit, and other horrible topics. My name is Zach.
And I'm Nick. Thanks for coming back to Vibe, whether you are listening on your drive to work, hanging out with us in your free time, or just trying to live through yet another major historical event. We're glad you're here.
Yes. We're so glad you're here.
Nightmare historical
event. It was right there. All you had to do was read.
I wasn't reading.
I love your commitment to actually memorizing and learning something.
Memorizing 1-2 sentences.
Yeah, and what episode are we on at this point?
20.
I refuse to be learning anything at this point.
What's the point? The world's gonna end tomorrow, probably.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But also it's right there in front of me. This is the same as like I think I'm slowly losing all mathematic abilities where I'm like, if there's double digits on those, I'm like I sit there for like 5 seconds, and if I can do it, I'll do it, and if not, I'll be like, let me just pull up the calculator app. It's fine.
Oh, I don't. Yeah, no. I'm not trying to do math ever.
Anyways, I'm tired. I'm sick of living through historical events, nightmare events.
Yeah. Me too.
I just want to not and focus on living and not succumbing to the atmosphere that exists around everything that happens in life nowadays.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I love that we're starting another episode on a high note. Love that for us. We're at the...
I mean, one of the presidential candidates just got shot yesterday. Shot at yesterday. He was not shot.
Grazed.
So it's just like, it's top of mind. Also, just expect this going forward because it's an election year and everything's terrible, so...
You know how like people like astrology people will always be like, oh, Saturn's in
retrograde.
I was about to say recession.
Oh my god,
Saturn's in recession.
The capitalism has rotted your brain.
Truly, God. But like this is now the new thing. It's like, oh, it's an election year. Like anybody can like do half of like what they've committed to and just be like, oh, it's an election year. I'll be like, oh, I get it. I'm not doing anything.
Yeah. I'm keeping the demons at bay. That's enough, right?
Every day. Every day.
Speaking of demons, not really. I've watched a couple movies to prepare for today. A few movies actually. I watched Happy Death Day. I had seen parts of it over 2 separate occasions, and I fell asleep during both. It was just one of those, like, somebody had it on, and I was already in the midst of falling asleep, and then it just happened.
You were dozy.
Exactly. Very dozy. Dozy girl. I loved Happy Death Day.
It's so much fun. It's so fresh.
It is fun. It's fresh. It's funny. Tree is great. And then I watched Happy Death Day 2U. And I fucking hated it.
The way that Nick texted me being like, so I'm watching this and I think I hate this. And it's been so long since I've seen it that I just remember really liking it because I know it was absolutely absurd. And it was just like, what if we made another movie but made it really dumb and ridiculous and went as far with this plot as we possibly could?
Honestly, yeah, that's a great, great description.
I love that.
Well, it's funny because I feel like the conversation lately when a new sequel is announced is like, this doesn't need to be made. Who's asking for this? Who wants this? And 9 times out of 10, I'm like, I'm asking for it. Like, I want to know what else is going on in this world. And if the people that wrote it want to keep writing about their characters, like, cool. I'll watch and I'll see what happens.
But you don't think this sequel was warranted, like, in any capacity?
This should not have been made. I feel like it didn't ruin the first movie, in that, like, I don't like the first movie anymore. I still love the first movie. But it ruined the first movie in that it makes no sense. Because in the second movie, there is this geek squad at the high school or at the college that is playing around with quantum whatever the fuck and have this big
That
machine.
is the scientific term for it. Quantum
you.
whatever the fuck.
Have this giant machine that they called Sissy, which okay. And that is what created
Come on, Sissy.
Not Sissy. Created the time loop in the first movie. But how does that make any sense? Why did she have to... The whole point of the first movie was that she thought she was killing that serial killer, and then you come to find out that it's actually her roommate that was poisoning her and killing her this whole time. How does Sissy, the machine, play into that? How does her finding out who the actual killer is, how does creating this machine to explain how the first movie happened, how does that make sense? Explain it to me.
Okay, so the way that there's no real clear way. The only way that I could possibly feasibly explain it, which I think is what they try to do in the second movie, because Tree's specifically brought into another dimension, another version of the world. I think for whatever reason, she is the thumbtack in like the universe. She's like the timeline has to have something that it gravitates and latches onto, and for whatever reason she is that person. And then even when, so like the first one's about like time, second one's about dimensions, but in both ones she is the main point of it. She is, whatever reason, Sissy has chosen her to be the thing that bends time around or bends dimensions around.
It didn't, though, because in the beginning of the second movie, it's the scientist dude who woke up, who got killed and woke up.
Because wasn't that the first attempt to use Sissy? It was the second attempt that is what then latched onto Tree. So the first one was him. The second one was her, right?
Well, no, because the first one with him was after she had, like, survived. So they had already done it once already.
Yes. So it was actually the second time latched onto him. The first time latched onto her.
But then it latched back onto her?
Yeah, because it went back to the 18th, which is like her birthday. So it's just like the significance of a day that is significant to her latched onto her in the timeline. It doesn't actually make sense, but the whole entire movie's premise of a Groundhog Day situation of time repeating doesn't make sense to begin with either. So
yeah, but with Groundhog, I mean, I'm already bought into it because of Groundhog Day. And you know what? Also, and I will just say this: I think maybe I'm incredibly over multiverse storylines. And if I had watched this in 2019 when it actually came out, maybe it wouldn't be so annoying. But honestly, the jokes didn't make me laugh; they made me groan. The plot points, I was like, are we doing this right now? There's at one point they're like, we have to go steal Sissy, and it would very much sounded like we're gonna go steal the Declaration of Independence. And I laughed out loud, and not in the way that I want to be laughing. I was like, what are we doing?
See, I always thought the movie was a lot more tongue-in-cheek. Like, it knew that it was like, we are getting this ridiculous sequel. We're having her jump out of a fucking plane and somehow land on campus.
That was another thing I had an issue with.
I think the whole entire point of the movie is to be as ridiculous and silly as possible. Because they were like, we got this budget. Let's just go, like, balls to the wall. And, like, it's already, the first movie doesn't really make sense because of the time repeating thing doesn't make sense in any kind of, like, they never explained it in the first movie. So I think the second movie, they were like, let's just find some way to explain it and just go balls to the wall crazy, make it big, make it silly.
So, and I hear what you're saying. All of this explanation is doing is confirming my belief that this should not have been made. Like, unless you're going to flesh out the story a little bit more other than we have this budget, let's see how crazy we can get, is not enough for me.
I have a really serious question for you, Nick.
Okay.
What happened to fun?
I didn't
Why does
have
no
it.
one Why does no one want to have fun anymore?
I didn't have it. The fun was not being had.
I had fun in 2019. 2019, Zach was having so much fun, and you leave that kid alone. He does not know what's going to happen in the next couple of years. You leave him alone. Let him have his 2019 fun.
Hey, when you put it that way, How can I say anything else?
Thank you. How
I
dare
will say
you
more,
go
actually.
back and re-examine things from the past and use a lens of modern day cinema and judge them? How could you?
I don't know.
Anyways,
there weren't any
let's
kills.
talk about how other things are.
Let's
No,
oh no, we don't have no, we don't do that. Okay, fine. I won't if it comes up during the bracket, I have more things to say that are negative about this movie, but I will not harp on it. So yeah, I saw those movies to prepare for the bracket today.
Did you watch anything else?
I saw Maxine, baby. And I loved it.
Yeah, you did.
I loved it.
Right?
Loved the way it was shot. Obviously, I knew it was going to be like 80s nostalgia bait, and I say that in the best possible way.
Full warning now, we are like 2 weeks out from the release, and when you all hear this, probably an extra week, so we are going to talk spoilers. There's no way to avoid it. If you haven't seen Maxine, pause, go see Maxine before it leaves theaters, because there's no excuse. Just saying, we're going to talk spoilers.
Yeah. It will definitely be going in my rotation of like in October, like brisk fall day, just putting on something cozy, like cozy horror. Like that's exactly how it feels to me. I loved it. I thought it was so fun. Straight friend Brad did not love it.
I have been seeing that the straight men they were in for X, they were so for Pearl, but the straight men are not liking Maxine. But Maxine, favorite of the trilogy. I just think it was such a love letter to like horror film making, and just like Mia Goth is so good in it. Like, it's just good all the way through. However, did you guess who the killer was immediately?
No.
Oh.
But you do that. I don't do that. That's not my thing.
That's true.
I am I am the target audience for these movies. Like where it wants me to go, that's where I'm going. And I'm like, I'm so smart for thinking this. And then it's like, no, this is just what we wanted you to think. And I'm like, yeah, I knew that.
Like, yeah, I was there. I figured it. No, like for me, and again, spoiler, this is the big spoiler. So if you haven't seen it, this is the big spoiler. Skip 30 seconds if you haven't seen it. Literally when it showed at the very opening scene, her and her father, that like little like camcorder pass footage, I knew that the whole entire mystery was like, who is the killer? And I was like, so it's gonna be your dad, right? Like this is gonna be about family. Like, and then as soon as she goes to her second job and there's like the man with the gloves like watching her and like getting really angry right away, I was like, it's her dad. It's her dad.
Oh, duh. When I saw that, I was like, why would he be getting so mad?
Yeah, well, it was very clear that she was being very targeted. And if you think to like all the other, because I assumed this movie wasn't going to introduce a character completely, or it wasn't going to be like, and the killer is, who is this man? Mm-hmm. It had to be someone, and there's no one from Pearl or X that it could still be that would be related to Maxine except for her father, because the father is a heavy feature in X on the TV and stuff like that, and her upbringing. And then it shows the video right at the beginning of the film. I'm like, the only person that it could be and makes sense is someone related to Maxine, her father. And then as soon as they were upset about seeing her being a whore, because like the father's whole entire thing was like, in X was like, my daughter, look at her. Maxine was taken by the devil and seduced. And so like,
so they say that in the first movie?
Yeah, because her father's the preacher on the TV in the background of the movie. Okay,
man, it's been at least a year since I've seen that, and I wish I had seen it beforehand, because I wonder if I would have clocked that a little bit sooner.
You might have,
because I forgot about that.
I probably clocked it because with the special premiere I had seen, they showed X mere seconds before they're like, and Maxine. So that's probably why I clocked it so much. Because like one of the closing scenes is the father on TV being like, and I want you all to look at something. This is my daughter. She was seduced by the devil, and like is showing Maxine as Maxine is like going after Pearl.
Okay.
So
yeah, no, that makes total sense.
But the thing is, that didn't eliminate any of my enjoyment of the movie, because I would have actually been really disappointed if they were like, and it was another agent that was upset at you in Hollywood or something, or if they were like, and it's just some random guy, I would have been like, no. So I am glad that they went in that direction, and I loved the culty element of it, and like the very modern take on like, we're not the cult, you all are the sinful cult, and it's like, let's open our eyes and look around, baby.
The call is coming from inside the house.
Yeah, the call is coming from inside the house.
Totally.
So I love Maxine.
Me too. Yeah, X and Maxxine are my favorite. I liked Pearl. I didn't love it.
I'm the exact opposite. That's so funny.
Most people are. I've come to realize that most people like really love that movie. I don't know why I didn't love it. I didn't have as much fun, I don't think. It's not as much fun of a movie to my
Have you seen it again? Have you only seen it the once?
No, I've seen it twice.
Okay. All right, then it is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, I don't dislike it. It's just my least favorite out of the 3.
Well, that's exactly with X. I don't dislike it. It just doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah.
Staying with Maxine for a little while, I knew that, well, first of all, do you remember me saying there was one thing that I did not like about it?
Yes.
It is the fact that I feel like they were like, Halsey's in this movie. Everyone, Halsey. Have you seen Halsey?
Oh.
Listen to her accent. Everyone had something. And she got like 5 minutes of screen time and then dead.
Honestly,
and I was like,
I knew it. As soon as she was like, you be careful, there's a killer out there, I was like, oh, she's not going to survive the night.
I really thought, because they had killed that other girl so quickly, the one that she was with in the dressing room, I was like, all right, Halsey will probably survive till like mid, like, and she'll be, so we have the first kill, we have the second kill, then we'll have that, her friend that works at the video store. But no, they were just like, and first kill and second kill, and let's show them, and then here's their bodies together. I was like, one at a time, hold on, I'm not prepared for both of them.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that she was so upset about the video store guy dying, because to me, I was like, Maxine is just not a girl who has friends. Like, that's just doesn't seem like the character that would want them, need them. She's just like trying to get famous.
However, I think because he's not trying to get famous, I think this is very much in the realm of like, every homo honey needs their homo. I'm trying not to use F slur. But like, I feel like she was like, this is my F slur. So I feel like that's why it hit her more.
Totally.
I don't even know if that man was queer. I don't even know. Was he? I don't know. But he read like a queer character to me.
He basically told that old man he wasn't sucking dick anymore.
Right. Yes. But you never know. Could be gay for pay. or it could just be one of us.
I think he was.
And I feel, yeah. And then the other thing about Maxine, as soon as that, the alley scene where she crushes that guy's balls, it was like, ooh, we're in it. This is going to be good, baby.
Yeah, there were a few points where I was like, oh my God.
Well, and that's why I actually really love Maxine as a final girl, because I feel like there was a really, really satisfying and rewarding growth from X being like, I survived this shit. I'm not playing around. I know what I want. No one's gonna fucking stop me. So when she like has some strange guy following her, she's like, I have a fucking gun. Like, and I'm gonna make sure that you remember to stay the fuck away from me and never do this again.
Yep.
Like,
I think it's so rewarding. She didn't shoot him in the dick. What did I see?
No, she just makes him lie down. She just makes him lie down and like crushes his balls on with her heels.
Yeah. Oh, we have been binge watching The Boys, and somebody, Homelander shot his little laser beam into somebody's dick. So in my head, I was seeing like a hole-shaped hole where his dick should be.
A dick hole?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay.
Have you watched, Jamie and I just caught up on Gen V.
No, I want to watch that.
No, we haven't caught up. We watched the first season.
Oh,
and then we switched back to The Boys to catch up on The Boys.
Okay, so I know that Gen V happens between seasons 3 and 4, and I forgot that, and we're already halfway through 4, so I just figured I'd go back and watch it.
We had only we had finished season 3 of The Boys, but I didn't remember a lot of it. So then certain things happened in the first season of Gen V. I was like, I don't remember this. But we just went back and we caught back. We like watched the last 2 episodes to remind ourselves. Mm-hmm. Gen V, I really liked. I really liked it. So I'm excited to watch more.
I think we just watched the first episode. Fucking brutal, man. Also, R.I.P. to that one actor.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. From Chilling Adventures of Sabrina also. Yeah. Yeah, I liked him a lot. I don't know his name off the top of my head, but
I don't remember either, but
every time he showed up in something, I was like, yes, you.
I know.
Oh, speaking of another loss, Shelley Duvall.
And Shannon Doherty.
And Shannon Doherty.
Like, yeah. Was there a dude who died?
Richard Simmons.
They come in threes, man.
Bizarre. Like, very strange.
Final Destination, fucking Trump missed his Final Destination, and it moved to Shannon Doherty, and we don't deserve that.
No, we don't deserve that. None of us deserve that.
Living in a bad timeline, man.
But Shelley Duvall, an absolute icon, scream queen. The Shining, one of those classics. And she's just so iconic in it. I won't say she's iconic in it. Okay.
Sure. Well, she's also in Casper Meets Wendy, and you can't forget about that.
And yet, watch me.
How dare you?
Obviously, she has done so much. She is prolific. She is fantastic. But I will always just think of the hypercuts of her doing little commercials or opening things where she's like, "Hi, I'm Shelley Duvall."
I do not know what you're talking about.
You've never seen these hypercuts where it's just like all of the like her introducing herself in like commercials or like previews or something like that, and she just like steps out and she has the same cadence in every single one.
No.
I'll have to send you it.
Yes, please.
I feel like other people are gonna know. And then Shannon Doherty, Jamie is very, very into Charmed his entire life, so he spent the entire morning watching old Charmed.
I was gonna ask. That sounds about right.
Justice for her, especially with all the stuff that came out in the podcast that she had, and just kind of like how unfair the execs and other people on the set. I'm not an expert, so I'm not going to get fully into it, but it really seems like she got dealt the bad hand, and she deserved better.
Yeah, well, because Alyssa Milano was like a fucking terror on set, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I know that there are, like, I'm not here to justify anything, but I know Alyssa Milano also, just being a girl in Hollywood at that time, she was going through a lot of stuff also. It doesn't justify. But it is definitely, like, a snapshot of, like, how terrible Hollywood and, like, that kind of environment was at the time for girls like that in their positions.
Yeah.
So, and it just sucks that they both like had to deal with their own things, and then instead of coming together, it was a tearing it down of another girl.
Yeah. I mean, that time period in general is just fucking evil for
kind of horrific.
Women as adults and children, as we're seeing from the shit from fucking Nickelodeon coming out. Yeah. Which is crazy because like we all grew up on that stuff and we were just like, oh, this is so fun to watch, and actually it's really shitty stuff going on behind closed doors.
I was obsessed with the Amanda Show.
Same.
Like, obsessed.
Same.
And so like them showing clips of being like, if you look at this now, and I was like, ooh.
Nothing breaks my heart more than seeing Amanda Bynes lately, because like the decline from her in Easy A to now is just it's hard to fathom even, and I watched it.
I like, obviously she is entitled to her privacy and all that, but the way that if I got a tell-all like the Britney biography, if I got a tell-all, I would snatch that up immediately. Like a ghostwriter needs. Funny story also. Amanda Bynes was in downtown LA and was like, could someone send me some money for an Uber? I don't have access to any money right now because like someone had like left her or something like that. And she was like, I can't trust anyone, or if someone's willing to give me a ride. And Jamie turned to me and was like, should I go try to give Amanda Bynes a ride? I was like,
I would have said yes.
Maybe. But yeah.
Was she already gone?
I'm not sure. I think it was just one of those things where it's like, we're not that close to downtown LA, so it would have been a drive to begin with, and then you never really like fully know the situation, so like, but it could have happened.
I feel you. I probably would have done it. If I had seen it, I probably would have done it. I love Amanda Bynes. I follow her on TikTok, and it's sad, but I will continue to follow her and support her in her wig journeys, in her nail tech journeys, in her podcast journeys that inevitably start and end.
Just like this one, probably.
At some point.
No, that's like, whatever she ends up wanting to do, all the best to her.
Yeah.
But all right, so we will be talking more about Maxine. I really do want to mention, since it was brought up earlier, and the fact that you had been like, you had dozed through Happy Death Day before. Longlegs. I will not talk any spoilers. I'll wait for you to see it. I went with Jamie and another friend, and both of them were fighting to stay awake through the movie, apparently.
Oh.
I think, here's my thing. I didn't hate the movie. I didn't love it. Okay. I would give it a 3 out of 5 stars.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like a 3 out of 10. I was like, that's not good.
3 out of 5. Maybe like 6.5 out of 10, something like that. My thing is, I think the performances were fantastic. I think it was shot beautifully. I think there were some good concepts in there. Like the opening scene, I was obsessed with. I was so ready to love this movie. The opening scene, I turned to Jamie, I was like, oh, this, like, they use a specific aspect ratio for like stuff in the past. I was like, I'm obsessed with this aspect ratio. I'm obsessed with this like opening scene. But I don't think the movie had enough substance. I feel like they had it was trying to be too subtle in certain ways, and then other ways it had all these like bits of pieces that they never really like explored deeply enough, one or the other. They just like crammed all these things together, and then we're like, and here's the final pinnacle of like, none of the things came together for me, or like, you don't have to over explain stuff. I don't need like you to sit down and really like give me every bit, but there were just like some pieces where it was like, so there's this, but then there's this inside of this, and inside of that is this inside of that, and that is this because he's doing this, but then also this, but then she's connected because of this. And I was like, you should have just done one or two, not 7 things, and then be like, yeah, you get it, right? And I'm like, I get it, I don't like it.
Okay. I mean, I'm still gonna watch it. All I know is that it's like a Silence of the Lambs, so I know it's gonna be like a slow burn.
Yes, it's very much a slow burn, and here's the thing. I think everyone should go see it, because I am all for elevated horror. I am all for trying new things. I am so glad this movie exists, and I'm so glad this movie is doing so well. But it's the same as The Witch. What The Witch did for horror, I didn't like The Witch.
Sure.
But I'm so glad The Witch exists because of how it changed horror. Just like I think this is going to change horror, but I hope I'm seeing more like elevated that hit me just in a better way than this one did.
So we were talking about something similar with straight friend Brad the other day. It's kind of like we, as a collective, me, Nathan, and Brad, kind of hate the Beatles. We don't like the Beatles. We don't like their music. And when people say that, they're like, "What the fuck? You don't like the Beatles?" And I'm like, "No, I'm sorry, I don't. I can appreciate what they have done for songwriting and the music industry and how music is written. I can appreciate that and still hate almost all of their songs."
Nick, I'm the exact same way. I'm like, let's hit next. Skip.
Exactly.
However, the only song that I do like, Blackbird, Beyonce covered it, like,
I forget that's a Beatles song.
I'll just listen to this instead.
Man, I'm gonna be really honest with you right now. When I think about the song Blackbird, do you want to guess what version first comes to mind?
What?
Kurt from Glee.
F slur.
I know.
F slur.
I know. I
Kurt
that
from
cover,
Glee,
though.
but also you.
Yeah, no. Now Beyonce has a version of it, but still someone says Blackbird, and I'm thinking Kurt from Glee, that homosexual.
Wow. Honestly, good for him. A lasting impression in your brain.
Thank you.
Because I'm pretty sure I've removed everything Glee. Oh no, just kidding. When they do that one sing off in the bathroom with that random girl who's just trying to wash her hands, and Lea Michelle's like, I don't even know what song it is,
it's a Lady Gaga song.
I can picture the whole scene where she's like,
yeah, I think it's Poker Face.
And just like. I thought it was Telephone.
Oh,
is it Poker
maybe
Face?
That's what it was. Maybe it's one of the two.
It's one of them. But that is perfectly burned into my brain because Lea Michele is like some kind of musical theater villain in that, which I think maybe that's what they were going for. I don't know. I don't have context for the episode.
For sure. That's like the whole thing of Glee is that she is kind of evil.
Okay. And I can support that.
Yeah. We can support evil women.
But
who can't read.
We support good women, evil women. We support women here. We're taking a bold stance.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Whenever you see Longlegs, let me know, and we'll talk about it. Okay. I think everyone should see it. But...
Okay. Let's get to the bracket. Let's
get to the bracket. What you're all obviously here for, because you definitely listened to the episode before, and now you're back for more.
Yeah.
But just in case you're not, we're going to explain it again for you.
Mm-hmm. You know who won't need explaining? The South Carolina Department of Transportation.
Oh, yes. No, they're big fans.
They are really big fans of the pod. I know you're listening again. You twink, whoever is in charge of their social media, calling me Scat Queen. I hope this episode is for you, man.
Just for you. Actually, we're finding a way to only make sure we're gonna like private this video and it will just be available for you. Our biggest fan, the South Carolina Department of Transportation. Honestly,
don't tell the governor. Who's the governor of South Carolina? I forget South Carolina's a place. I keep wanting to call it the South Dakota Department of Transportation.
It's
South Carolina has all those horses.
I'm sure it's a man. I'm sure it's some white man, probably. I don't know.
So, on that note, as a refresher, we are doing a final girl championship bracket where we are trying
SmackDown Palooza
for the crown. Trying to figure out who is the final girl of all final girls is. We are pitting two girls up against each other in 4-ish rounds. 1, 2,
yes. I mean, there would be a
4 rounds. For the... No. 2 prelims. Semifinal, final.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I was...
Yeah. 4 rounds. As I just stated, there will be 2 preliminary rounds, 1 semifinal. Right?
No. 2 semifinals. There's 4 qualifying rounds. Here we go. Okay, there's 4 qualifying rounds, 2 semifinals, and 1 final.
Thank you. That being said, we have 8 final girls, all going after each other. The final girls include Laurie Strode, Grace Laydomas, Sydney Prescott, Sam Carpenter, Ellen Ripley, Tree Gelbman, Aaron Harson, and Maxine Minks. We are setting all 8 of them against each other in rounds of AI prompt that will set the stage for conflicts between the 2 girls and their corresponding nemeses. And then after, we will decide who we think will get out alive based on said prompt,
Mm-hmm.
and declare a winner. The whore who the whore who guesses who's still standing correctly will get points, and the whore with the most points at the end of the final round wins. What do we
Which
win?
we should probably a kiss.
Okay, cool.
So we both win. And so we should probably do a better job of tracking this just in case we forget. We both are tied now with 1 point because we keep picking the same final girl.
Yeah, I was gonna let's recap last episode.
Yes. So previously, we had 2 qualifying rounds. We had Sydney Prescott versus Aaron Harson, and the winner was Sydney Prescott of that one.
No one's surprised.
And then we had Grace Ledomas versus Ellen Ripley, 2 very, very different girls. And Ellen Ripley won, and that is who both of us bet on. And, you know, I think might take the crown. That might be my guess. I don't know.
I think I'm right there with you.
We'll see, but I just feel like I don't know because I have another argument for Sydney Prescott because I do think Sydney is final girl material, and the fact that she won over Erin, who I legitimately think in a world probably would be my final girl, but I don't know. We'll get there when we get there.
Yeah. I'm very. I was because it was Erin against Sydney. Yeah. See, that was tough. We both chose Erin, right?
Yes.
Yeah. See, I mean, that says it all. Like I would have thought that the person that was raised by doomsday preppers and whatever would come out alive, but alas, I didn't write it.
But again, this is the AI, and we're vocalizing what we think would be best.
Yeah.
So I do think the AI is wrong in that one, but that's the bracket. That's the game, baby.
Yeah.
I also think that Sydney won because it elevated Ghostface above the animal mask killers. It made the animal mask killers more like disposable pawns, making Ghostface
totally
like the master manipulator. So I think that elevated Sydney higher up than Erin. And just Sydney has probably way more of a presence online that the AI is grabbing whatever from Wikipedia and stuff like that. It probably was like, ooh, a bunch of Wikipedia pages on this person, whereas like one on this person. So, but also, who knows how AI works? I don't know.
Not me. I don't.
There's something sinister and evil going on there, but we're gonna use it for our own purposes.
Yes, and merrymaking. That being said, today we have. Who do we have?
Qualifying round number 3, which is Laurie Strode of Halloween and her nemesis Michael Meyers versus Tree Gelbman of Happy Death Day, and also Happy Death Day to You, Nick's new favorite film, and her nemesis, the Bayfield Babyface Killer. And then we have qualifying round number 4, which we have Maxine Minx of X and Maxxine versus Pearl, and versus Sam Carpenter of Scream versus her Ghostface. I think I have... Alright, so first we get into it. We get the first prompt, and then we'll start discussing. Because, like, unless this prompt is wild, unless it's absolutely wild, I already know who I'm voting for this qualifying round. But we'll wait until the prompt comes out, because you never know. It could be something wild.
Okay. Okay, so who are we doing first?
Laurie Strode versus Tree Gelbman.
Okay.
Hold on, let me do my... If you all watched our little clip, which Nick did an amazing job of editing that together.
Thank you.
Let me go ahead and do my announcer voice. Laurie Strode, Halloween, Tree Gelbman, Happy Death Day.
It's so good.
Fight! Are you all ready for Happy Halloween Day.
Yay!
The most predictable and obvious name that could have possibly been generated. Okay. Fade in. Abandoned cabin, night. A full moon hangs ominously in the sky, casting eerie shadows over the dense forest surrounding a long, abandoned summer camp. The wind rustles through the trees, creating an unsettling symphony of whispers. Point, in fact, Michael Myers isn't... Neither of these people are at a camp. What?
Well, this is
Where
the
did this come
crossover
from?
event. This is the crossover.
Yeah.
Now they're in a camp.
Okay. Fine. Okay. Cut 2. Camp entrance, night. The rusted, creaking gates of the camp swing open. Standing in the entrance is Laurie Strode in her late 50s, but still formidable. Her eyes are steely. She's old, but she can still do it. Her eyes are steely, scanning the darkness. She grips a shotgun with practiced ease. Laurie, whispering to herself, "All right, Michael, let's finish this." Suddenly, a car screeches to a halt behind her. The door flies open, and Tree Gelbman, mid-20s, tumbles out looking both annoyed and determined. She slams the door shut and adjusts her backpack. Tree, half to herself, half to Laurie. "If I have to die one more time, I swear." Laurie raises an eyebrow, intrigued but cautious. "Laurie, you must be Tree. Heard you had a repetitive experience." Tree smirks, pulling out a crowbar from her backpack. Tree, "Yeah, you could say that. I'm getting real tired of this Groundhog Day crap." Laurie nods, a hint of a smile touching her lips. Laurie, "All right, we stick together. These two maniacs won't know it hit them." Cut 2. Camp cabins, night. The moonlight casts long shadows over the decrepit cabins. The atmosphere is thick with tension. Suddenly, the sound of twigs snapping breaks the silence. Laurie and Tree exchange a knowing glance and move stealthily towards the source. Abandoned cabin, night. Laurie kicks open the door, her shotgun at the ready. The room is empty, save for cobwebs and broken furniture. Tree scans the surroundings, her grip tightening on the crowbar. Tree, "You think they know we're here?" Laurie, "They always know." A sudden noise from outside catches their attention. They spin around, weapons raised. Cabin, night. Standing in the moonlight clearing are Michael Myers and the Bayfield Babyface killer. Michael, with his iconic white mask, tilts his head in that unsettling way. Babyface, wielding a large knife, takes a menacing step forward. Laurie and Tree stand side by side, their resolve unshakable. Tree, "Ready to dance?" Laurie, "I've been ready for 40 years. Cut 2. Campfire clearing, night. The two pairs face off, the tension palpable, the campfire flickering, casting eerie shadows on the killer's masks. Laurie and Tree exchange a final glance, a silent understanding passing between them. Laurie, on 3. Tree, 1. Laurie, 2. Tree and Laurie, 3! With a battle cry, Laurie fires her shotgun and Tree charges forward. Crowbar raised, the showdown begins. The moon watching silently from above. Fade out. To be continued. Bum-ba-da-da!
Okay, let's hear arguments.
Okay, the thing we have to land on first is that both of the girls in the prompt are given weapons and are told that they have experience.
Yep.
Fucking Laurie is the Laurie of modern Halloween continuations, the sequels, which first one, pretty good. Second one,
I liked Halloween Kills.
wait, that is the one with the car where the girl tries
I love that
to
scene
shoot
so
and he opens up the
much.
car and she
I love it. I think it's so silly.
I love how you're sitting there being like, this sequel was so silly. It was so silly, I love it. Whereas me earlier in this episode, Happy Death Day 2 so silly, I love it. You're like, no, it should never have been made.
Well, I didn't
Send
have
it to
fun.
the fires.
I didn't have fun.
And I didn't have fun in Halloween Kills. Has the
Scale issue.
Has the third come out?
Yeah.
Was that a thing?
Yeah.
What happened in that one?
Oh, God.
That was where the other sociopath was like, I'm going to be Michael Myers now. Right. Ooh, I blocked that one right out of my brain also. Whew.
Yeah, that was interesting for sure. But
yeah, Michael Myers was just like hiding in some sewer or something, like fucking Pennywise, and he like just showed up and was like, no, teach me your ways. I want to be like you.
Are you looking for an intern, sir?
Yeah, literally. Anyways. Okay, so they both have weapons, and they both seem capable with them. We do have to remember, I don't know how this is going to factor into our voting, but Tree very specifically is like, if I have to die one more time, so Tree is going to be harder to kill because she is not out of the Groundhog situation. She is currently in the Groundhog Day situation.
Or because she's been dying so often, her body is all beaten up and she's not going to be as fast as she has been.
See, the only thing is we don't, and this is just the AI doesn't probably know enough about the movies, that there's no reference of her slowing down at all. She's the one that's charging in with the crowbar, but we have to use our knowledge of the movies here.
Right.
Yes, absolutely. But the thing is, she never dies of weakness from how many deaths did she have at Happy Death Day 2?
At least 10, but she does like faint. She has to go to the hospital and shit.
Yeah, she does, but it doesn't take her out.
No.
So I do want to just put into the conversation that this is not Tree having come out of her Groundhog Day and being like, I can fight, I know how to take on a killer because I've done it 20 plus times in movie 1 and 2. This is like, she is in her at least let me reread that line because I think that is something important to like stress. When she comes out, she says, if I have to die one more time, I swear.
I mean, that could be
that actually doesn't imply.
Like, it could be the middle of the second movie. Like, she could have been dying a bit.
Yeah, but also, now that I'm rereading that, it could just be, like, it doesn't need to imply that she is in her Groundhog Day era. She's not in her era.
Not in the
She
era.
could be that, like, I don't want to die one more time because she's already done it so many times, and this could be the last time because she might not be in her Groundhog. But the presence of the Babyface killer does imply that she is still in her Groundhog Day era because, like, once she defeated it in the first movie,
this wasn't could be the third film. I feel like you're thinking too much into that minutia.
Baby, I live to overthink. That's what I'm here for.
That's fair. I think the only reason why I think you're overthinking it is because she's up against a 50-something-year-old Laurie Strode. If this was teenage Laurie Strode, I'd be like, Tree's got it, no question. But I'm afraid Laurie's gonna take it this time.
Well, when I said that I had already had my decision, it was going to be Laurie Strode no matter what. The only thing that would have changed my mind if they specifically were giving Tree immortality in this, because she, even if they kill her at the end, she could just come back. Like, the AI could just revive her. However, the other thing to consider, and I'm sorry that I'm overthinking this, but like, this could be her like 5th time doing this exact fight with Michael Myers and the Bayfield. So she could be coming with more experience this time. Because she's going to keep going through until she wins. Yeah. But she could get weaker and weaker, but hopefully she learns something along the way to help out Laurie be the final girl. Or because we don't know what is the final linchpin that's going to get her out of this rotation. If it's her surviving, or if it's just taking down the killers, or maybe it's Laurie has to survive. We don't know what the actual linchpin is, so we can't really go off of anything.
Well, and when she shows up too, it's kind of giving familiarity. She's like, if I have to die again for you, like, that's the vibe I'm getting. It's giving, like, I know who you are because we've been fighting together already.
Yeah, because Tree doesn't even, like, say, like, normally in these prompts, they're like, oh, hi, you're this person. Oh, you're this person. Yeah. Whereas Laurie specifically, like, oh, I know you. But Tree's just like, what up? Here we are. Yeah. Like, let's get through it. I'm sick of this Groundhog Day crap. But also, the fact that Laurie knows who Tree is, I love this, like, just internetwork of, in all of these prompts, all the final girls are just aware of each other. They all live in the same universe where they're like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, you're that one that also survived this.
They all met at Comic-Con.
That's like, fuck any more Marvel team ups. I don't care. I need a final girl team up movie.
I'm right there with
like
you.
just bring like 4 or 5 of them all together. Give us the Charlie's Angels of final girls, and they all just live in the same. They all live in the same universe, and they're all like they meet Sydney, and they're like, "Oh fuck, you're the girl." You're the girl that has dealt with Ghostface all these years. And then she turns to someone else and she's like, Laurie Strode, fuck, you've been dealing with Michael Myers. There's the synergy. I do find it very interesting that it did go with the modern, older Laurie Strode. And that, I think, in the end will clinch it for me. Because that Laurie Strode is fucking prepared. And she's not putting up with any fucking shit.
Yeah. Well, and... I mean, Tree has a pretty heavy body count, and like I said, if it was not...
Does she remind me? I thought she only had her roommate who she kicks out the window. Does she kill anybody else?
Well, she almost kills the killer, but then she's like, I can't do that because somebody is gonna die.
Because her man will die in the second movie. Because then it would lock it into place. So she goes and crashes herself into the electric.
No, you're right. Her body count, she doesn't have a body count, but she is scrappy. And she is going in like, I don't care if I die. I'm going to go in and I'm going to get the job done. That's what I'm confusing.
Yes. So I think it comes down to Laurie Strode's experience and her... Like, she's the fucking Batman of final girls. Like,
totally.
If you give her time to prepare, she will fucking find a way to turn her house into a fiery death trap and trap you in there.
Yep.
So it's experience versus Tree being, like you said, scrappy. But also, I feel like that's the kind of girl that could get stabbed like 7 times and she'll be like, I fell out of a fucking plane. I felt the pain of death so many times. I'm gonna keep going until my body gives the fuck out on me.
I agree. So then now we have to think about the killers, because I feel like they are going to be going after their respective people. Like, Michael Myers is not going to be concerned with Tree if Laurie Strode is there. And same with the Babyface killer. I feel like unless they are really teaming up, which I'm like, why would they do that?
This one kind of does give a lot more team up. Like, it's the two of them standing together in the moonlight.
Mm-hmm.
So it feels a little bit more like, it is strange because like these people's relationship. Then again, in Happy Death Day, the Bayface killer is that serial killer that they bring into the university hospital. So that is a psychotic serial killer as well.
Mm-hmm.
My thing is, though, Michael Myers is this basically pseudo-immortal killer at this point, whereas the Bayfield Babyface killer, I'm just going to start saying Babyface. Babyface is just
Multiple
a regular
people.
guy.
Yeah.
There's nothing inhuman, superhuman about this, whereas Michael Myers is very heavily applied to be kind of superhuman in multiple ways. So I really think Laurie Strode with a shotgun takes out Babyface very easily. In real reality, I think Laurie goes, "You're the bigger threat, so boom, let's focus on him."
Yeah. And I see Tree getting taken out in the crossfire.
I see
Between
Tree,
Laurie and Michael.
The only thing that I always have to raise is I think that there is this kind of martyrdom that can come of these more experienced girls, because they're like, hey, I see that you don't have the exact capability. Also, Laurie Strode is in her 50s. That for an audience, like, losing that character, but like to make sure this younger girl has a more fulfilling life is always kind of the thing that I consider, because I'm like, I could see Laurie sacrifice herself, but doing a, like, she takes out Michael at the same time that Michael takes her out, and she's like, Tree, live on. Live on, you have so many years.
That's how I feel like Halloween Ends should have ended, in my opinion. But
with the daughter?
No,
the granddaughter.
Yeah.
I think the daughter survives. She just ends up getting sent to the hospital. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think I've blocked those movies out.
Does Laurie didn't die in Halloween Kills, does she?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Or, I mean, Halloween
No,
ends.
because at the end of it, she, like, becomes more normal. She's like, I'm going to live a normal, happy life now.
That's right.
Um,
Is it bad that I kind of wanted Laurie to die in that last movie? Like,
I think there's something to be said about sending off a final girl that has been so significant, especially if they are going to... I'm of two minds. If this is the end, I'm fine with them keeping Laurie alive and us just being like, yes, our final girl. But if they want to reboot it, like if their plan was to do a reboot and have the younger generation, I would have wanted them to kill off Laurie to have the younger generation and a motivation.
okay, fair.
But if this is the end, let my girl live. She's been through enough.
Sure. Okay. So final thoughts. We're both going with
I
Laurie Strode.
also find it interesting. One final thought. I find it interesting that, I mean, not interesting, but like you've seen Halloween H2O, right? The sequel that erased the other movies along the way. Even in that movie, Laurie Strode is so much more fucking prepared.
Yeah.
And she my heart of hearts, I have to give it to Laurie Strode, even though I love Tree as this like silly, comedic, hypercritical final girl, and she has the advantage of near immortality with the Groundhog Day effect. But in the end, my heart has to go with Laurie Strode.
I'm right there with you.
Okay. Damn, at some point we're gonna have to pick different ones, or else we're just gonna keep tying.
I know.
But this is not that one. Murder! One of them! All right. The climactic final scene to Happy Halloween Day.
Is that what it says?
No,
Okay.
That's what I said. Oh, God, because it's so dumb. It's so dumb. But I was like, what kind of crossover title are they going to give this one? I was like,
Happy Halloween Day.
Duh. I would love to see a Halloween. I know you don't want another Happy Death Day, but I would love to see a Halloween one. I would 100%. Where there's like multiple Babyface killers all going for her. I'd love to see that.
I would watch it, but man, I really hated the sci-fi direction that they went in. I hated that.
Yeah, they would have to do something completely different.
It was
But I would
giving
also-
Disney Channel original movie to me. So I was like, where is the horror? Where are the scares? Where are the kills? What are we doing here? This feels like I'm 12.
You said smart house, more like foolish university. Okay. Fade in. Abandoned camp, dawn. The first light of dawn begins to break through the trees, casting a soft golden glow over the blood-soaked ground. The once menacing camp now lies silent, the aftermath of the brutal battle evident everywhere. Cut 2. Campfire clearing, dawn. The campfire now just embers, smoldering quietly. Near the dying fire, the bodies of Michael Meyers and the Bayfield Babyface killer lie motionless, their reign of terror finally ended. In the middle of the clearing, Laurie Strode stands, breathing heavily, her shotgun hanging limply in her hand. She is battered, bruised, and covered in blood, but victorious. She looks down at Tree Gelbman, who lies on the ground, gravely wounded. Laurie, voice trembling. Hang on, Tree. You're gonna be okay. Tree coughs, blood trickling from the corner of her mouth. She looks up at Laurie, her eyes filled with pain, but also with a sense of peace. Tree, labored breath. It's okay, Laurie. I guess my loop finally ends here. Laurie drops to her knees beside Tree, desperation in her eyes. Laurie, no, don't say that. We made it. We beat them. Tree reaches up, placing a weak hand on Laurie's cheek. Tree, you did it, Laurie. You finally stopped him. Just promise me you'll live your life now. Laurie nods, tears streaming down her face. She grips Tree's hand tightly. Laurie, I promise. Tree's hand goes limp, her eyes closing for the last time. Laurie cradles Tree's body, sobbing quietly as the sun continues to rise, bathing the clearing in light. Cut to exterior, camp entrance, morning. Laurie walks out of the camp, a grim determination on her face. Behind her, the camp fades to the background, a place of nightmares now conquered. She stops at the entrance, looking back one last time. Then with a deep breath, she turns and walks away, the weight of the past lifting from her shoulders. Fade out. The end.
Well, we've been new. And my headcanon is that Laurie Strode and Tree Gelbman were in the midst of falling in love. So
I agree.
The age gap relationship that we all really needed.
Mm-hmm. The mommy-daughter situation.
Thank you.
I mean, come on. That hand reaching up. Promise you'll live your life.
She said, get that cooter 8. Grandma?
She said not grandma. She is. Laurie Strode is a grandma. You are correct. Now, this one we have to fill in some... we're not explaining anything. We both got our points for us.
Yes.
Cheers. Insert cheering, audience clapping here. We both did it. 2v2. I will say, a little disappointed that we got plopped in at the end of the battle. We don't know how Tree got taken down or what the mortal wound was.
I know.
But that's the AI for you, baby.
Yeah.
Never know.
R.I.P. Tree. Maybe you'll be with your mom now.
I do love, so she specifically references that she got out of the loop here. I do love that whatever the objective of this was, whether to kill Michael Myers, whether to save Laurie, whether to take out Babyface, like, she accomplished, and she is proud of the accomplishment and getting out of the loop, and she's like, I'm good to go. Send me off. I don't fear death anymore. Death fears me. I'm Tree Gelbman.
Yeah.
God, she's such an interesting, cool final girl to me.
I loved her. I thought she was fucking funny. But I mean, in comparison, you just can't compare the two. Laurie's mother.
You know what? If living in our headcanon, if I was the writer of this, the final scene would have been hand on cheek to Tree to Laurie. You are gay. Live on. And that's Laurie's gay awakening.
Yes.
God, because that is the most iconic line, which I really thought that line was from the first one with how iconic it is, but that is from the sequel to You Are Gay?
Yes.
God, the delivery.
That was the best part of that movie.
I will agree with you, honestly. I will agree that is the best part of the movie.
Yeah.
And y'all, I know that Tree is probably like, if you listen, you are probably like, if you've never seen Happy Death Day, or even if you have, you probably were like, what a weird pick for a final girl. But like, go rewatch that first movie. Like, Tree deserves her flowers for the final girl that she is.
Yeah, I mean, she is a badass. She went down swinging. I mean, even after the first death, she was like fighting and trying to defend herself. I'm like, Tree's great.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, she doesn't have the experience of like an Aaron Harson or anything like that. She's just some girl. And then she doesn't also ever have like this magical moment where she's like I don't want to invoke the Mary Sue stereotype situation, but she's always just, like Nick was saying earlier, just scrappy. She's died so many times that she's like, let's go. Let's fuck it up. Like,
the determination saves her a lot, I think. Well, I guess it doesn't, because she dies every time. So,
well, yes, okay, good point. All right, well, let us know if you predicted that one or what you all thought. If you got points, let us know. Let us know what you're tracking on.
Yeah.
Are you beating Nick and I? 2 points? 2 out of 3? Let us know.
Yeah.
I will say, before we move on to the next one, I do think it's funny that Tree, a 20-something college girl, turns to Laurie Strode, a 50-year-old, is like, go live your life.
That's what I thought. That's what made me laugh.
As like,
go live your life, Granny.
Yeah, go on, Granny. You have retirement age coming up. It's gonna be great.
You guys go sign up for the AARP, bitch.
What is the retirement age at this point? Is it 67 or something deranged like that?
No, it's in your 70s.
Is it? No
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. Yeah. We're literally, I mean, that's not, we will not retire, so there doesn't really matter.
No, I'm gonna die at this desk right here. Still working from home.
50 years from now, it's just a skeleton with a chain around its neck. And catboy ear muffs.
Yep, that's exactly how they'll find me. And I'll have no regrets.
Earphones, not
right.
earmuffs.
Close enough. We got it. All right, we are now moving on to qualifying round number 4 between Maxine Minx and Sam Carpenter.
Maxine Minx and Sam Carpenter star in Nightmare Duo. Abandoned amusement park, night. The flickering neon lights of a dilapidated amusement park cast eerie shadows. The air is thick with the smell of rust and decay, punctuated by distant carnival music playing on a loop. There's a sign that reads, Pearl's Pleasureland. Enter Haunted House, night. The haunted house is a maze of mirrors and fog. The creaking of the flipboards and occasional distant scream add to the unsettling atmosphere. Maxine Minx, late 20s, sexy and tough, steps into view. She's dressed in her signature retro form-fitting outfit, her eyes scanning the area with determination. She holds a shotgun, her finger ready on the trigger. Come out, Pearl. It's time for your curtain call. A soft, mocking laughter echoes through the halls. Pearl, 70s, eerily beautiful, yet sinister, steps out from behind a mirror holding a blood-stained sickle. Pearl. Maxine, dear, you've come back to play. How delightful. Suddenly, a figure in a Ghostface mask appears behind Maxine, knife glinting in the dim light. Just as he's about to strike, Sam Carpenter, late 20s, fierce and resilient, bursts through a nearby door, tackling Ghostface to the ground. Sam gritting her teeth. Not so fast, Ghostface. Maxine spins around, pointing her shotgun at Pearl. We're ending this, Pearl. Tonight, Maxine says. Ghostface and Sam wrestle on the floor, trading punches and kicks. Sam manages to rip off Ghostface's mask, revealing a twisted smirk. Ghostface, revealed. You think you can stop us? We've only just begun. Sam delivers a hard punch to his face, knocking him out cold. Guess again, says Sam. Pearl steps forward, her sickle glinting menacingly in the deep light. Pearl, smiling. Let's see how you handle an old-fashioned duel. Maxine smirks, cocking her shotgun. Bring it on, Granny. Pearl lunges at Maxine with the sickle, but Maxine dodges gracefully, swinging the shotgun like a bat and knocking the sickle from Pearl's hand. Sam stands, wiping blood from her lip, and moves to stand beside Maxine. Together, they face Pearl, who is now weaponless and seething with rage. Sam, steadying her breath. This ends now, Pearl. Pearl's eyes dart between Maxine and Sam, realizing she's outmatched. Pearl snarling, You think you've won? This is just the beginning! Maxine and Sam exchange a knowing look, raising their weapons. Maxine and Sam in unison. Game over. They move forward, ready to deliver the final blow when suddenly the lights flicker and the carnival music crescendos into a cacophony. End scene.
I have a lot of thoughts.
I loved it, is my first thought.
Okay, hold on.
Hit me.
The biggest thing.
Yeah.
The biggest thing, and this is just a qualm, and again, AI is not smart, it's dumb. The fact that the opening scene they're going to tell me that they revealed Ghostface, but there's not even a who's under there. It's just like revealed Ghostface. The whole entire point of the Scream franchise is who is under the Ghostface mask. So the fact that Sam just reveals it, and that is just like a, okay, and?
Yeah, I mean, literally, it just says Ghostface and Sam wrestle on the floor, trading punches and kicks. Sam manages to rip off Ghostface's mask, revealing a twisted smirk.
Of who?
Of
a
who?
Hoomst. Hoomst.
Great question.
So that's my.
It's unimportant.
Yeah, apparently. That's my biggest qualm. However, what I love is the setting. Come on,
Pleasureland? Pleasureland?
Pearl's Pleasureland? Like, a carnival just hits so right coming off of, like, an ex-Pearl situation, like a county fair situation.
Uh-huh.
I could see this. Ty West, did you know that Ty West is already working on a 4th movie?
In the Pearl universe?
Yes. Yeah.
Do we know what it's about?
No.
Okay.
It's not official. It's just like he's like, I could do a 4th, and I have an idea for it.
Okay.
But baby, we got your. If there's not a fucking town carnival, or that's what I want. I don't know how to make that work. I don't even know what you would do, what characters you would look. Because I feel like Maxine's done. Like, we're done. Like, don't do any more Maxine. I would want her. I feel like she has her thing.
But where would it go if it's in the same universe?
It would be how Pearl and her man kept killing people. So it would be the in-between of what we see at the end of Pearl and, like, how their, like, evil twistedness, like, how... Because, like, if you remember, she killed her soldier husband's sister.
Yeah.
How did she convince him to stay with her?
Yeah. And he also says something like, don't do this again. Like, it's very much like he's seen her go off the crazy before and is trying to keep the kids from bringing that out of her.
Yes, but if you also... So there's an aspect of that, but the other thing is in X, he specifically thought it was going to be one person coming, and they have a history of anybody that comes, they kidnap. Because if you remember, when Jenna Ortega's character gets put into the basement, she sees the dead guy strung up, and they find his car pushed into the lake. So they have been kidnapping and basically sexually abusing every single person that stayed there. That's why when he saw the full group, he was like, I thought you said it was just going to be you.
That's right.
Like, oop. So I think the 4th movie would be how Pearl convinces this man to stay and how they get into this twisted relationship of abducting people that stay at their farm.
Okay, I got you. I see.
So find a way to put a carnival in that town. So I think it would make sense to have a town fair in that time period. Anyways, we're getting too far. I love the carnival situation for this setup. The last thing I want to say, the name actually coming off of Happy Halloween Day, Nightmare Duo. Great. I love, because it could be for the 2 mains or the 2 killers, because the 2 mains are killers. Like, that's what's really interesting about this pair up, because both of them have a little bit of killer in them. Both of them have a little bit of crazy in them. Sam Carpenter, like, she's ready to stab. She is not going to stop.
She's trying to keep herself from the stabby, whereas Maxine is like, don't get in my fucking way. If you cut me off, I will run you off the road.
I will squish your balls underneath my heel, and then I will put keys in my knuckles and beat you the fuck out. Oh, that scene was so good in Maxine.
Uh-huh.
I
stepped out of her car at the stop sign just to beat the shit out of him. So good.
So good. Like, oh my god. I was obsessed with that scene because, like, it's like, what I loved about Maxine is, like, this is a girl who has been through everything. And she's like, tell the police. Figure it out. I don't know. I'm going to fucking, like, I'm not going to be the victim here. Like, I might get in trouble. Shit might break bad for me, but I am not going to be the victim. I am not the one left bloody and bleeding.
To that end, I think Maxine is coming out on top on this one because Sam is battling her inner demons, which feels like distracting. Billy Loomis is in her head. That seems distracting. Whereas Maxine is like, I'm going to be a fucking star and you're not going to get in my way and you're not going to dim my light metaphorically or literally. I'm going to kill you.
I think this might be our first disagreement.
No, it's our second.
I love that.
Isn't it?
No.
Oh, you're right.
We've tied every time. Yeah, this might be our first one. So for me, Sam Carpenter is a fucking killer. she will not stop until any threat against her is dead. She is the reason I wanted to put 2 Scream Final Girls on this list, and we already talked about this is just for the viewer listening, is I think Sydney and Sam are such different types of Final Girls, and I love the Final Girl of Sam being a killer at the same time. Like, she is a Final Girl in every capacity, but at the same time she is the descendant of a serial killer, and she's got that dog in her. She's got that killer in her. And I love how interesting that is, because she's not the villain. She's just like, I don't know, you picked a fight and now you picked a fight with the wrong girl. But Maxine is the same way. They're both such cool, interesting Final Girls, and I feel like if it was Tree Gelbman against either of them, it would be like, oh no, Maxine is gonna fuck it up, or Sam's gonna fuck it up. But the fact that they're against each other is really interesting to me. But I think Sam just has it a little bit more because of her body count.
Okay, let's see. Who has weapons? Both of them? Let's see.
I don't think it said anything about Sam having a weapon.
Maxine has a shotgun.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think you're right, because Sam and Ghostface wrestle on the floor, trading punches and kicks. Delivers a punch to the face. Pearl has a sickle. Swinging the shotgun like a bat. Yeah, Sam doesn't have a weapon.
Okay.
But Pearl is now weaponless too.
Yeah. And first of all, them being like, Pearl, 70 or 80, whatever they said, still eerily beautiful.
Right? Yeah, let's go back to that. Let's see.
Are we sure?
Pearl, 70s, eerily beautiful and sinister. Like, okay.
All right. Okay.
AI is horny for grandma.
For grandma. However, I do find it interesting that Pearl is being elevated to like the bigger threat here, whereas that doesn't actually in reality make sense to me. Because that's one of the big things about X for me is I didn't find Pearl, and I'm blanking on her husband's name, Pearl and her husband as threatening killers. I think they took the first couple by surprise, but then afterwards I'm like, y'all should know what's going on. Like, dodge and weave. They're not that quick. Like, tackle.
I mean, nobody like really went against them one-on-one though. Like they kind of had the advantage at some point or in some way in all of these encounters.
To a certain extent, but it's because there's like Brittany Snow's character just puts herself in harm's way in front of Pearl to be pushed in against the alligator kind of thing. But it's like, I don't think that old lady could have that much force in her, or the fact that like when Maxine is hiding underneath the bed and Pearl and her man are doing it because the spark is alive again, I'm like, the shotgun is down. You can now take both of them.
No, totally.
Stand up.
I agree with that for sure. In that moment, I was like, what are you doing? Like, beat the shit out of them. But
yeah. And even in the final scene, because they put down the shotgun because like she tries to use the gun which isn't actually loaded. But like I'm like, as soon as she realized it wasn't loaded, then Pearl has a chance to pick up the shotgun because she's still like, huh?
Sure.
And I'm like, just tackle her. This is an old woman. Just tackle her.
Sure. I hear you.
That's my whole entire thing with the X, is I just didn't find them threatening. But it's interesting in this prompt that they are elevating Pearl to be the threatening one, because Ghostface is so tackled to the ground and revealed, and like,
yeah, it doesn't say he's dead though. He just got hit.
No.
So
yeah.
Do you think he's gonna come back?
I think he has to. I don't know. It was so unceremonious in this first prompt that I feel like the prompt we're gonna get, the next one, is going to be Ghostface already dead, and it's Pearl squaring off against the two girls, which would be, again, I feel like they could roll their eyes and like jauntily walk towards that woman.
No, I agree.
Beat her to death.
Yeah. Jauntily.
They could fucking hold hands and skip, and while they're skipping, just like clothesline her and like snap her neck.
Okay.
I think for Sam Carpenter being the killer that she is, I'm going with Sam.
Okay, I'm going with Maxine. All right. Nightmare Duo, Part 2. Abandoned amusement park. Night. The once flickering neon lights are now mostly dark, with only a few sputtering to life. The air is heavy with silence, save for the occasional distant sound of dripping water. The ground is littered with debris from the night's battle. Into Haunted House Night. The once chaotic haunted house is now eerily still. Broken mirrors and blood splatters mark the aftermath of the intense fight. In the center of the room, Maxine Minx and Sam Carpenter stand back to back, bruised and battered, but still defiant. Ghostface, revealed to be a desperate and bloodied figure, lies motionless on the ground. Pearl is nowhere to be seen. Where is she? Asks Sam, exhausted. Suddenly, a figure emerges from the shadows. It's Pearl, clutching a hidden knife, a manic gleam in her eyes. You thought you could beat me? Pearl lunges at Maxine. Sam reacts instinctively, pushing Maxine out of the way and taking the knife thrust meant for her. Knife plunging into Sam's side. Sam gasps in pain but grabs Pearl's wrist, twisting the knife out of her hand. Maxine, regaining her balance, swings her shotgun, hitting Pearl square in the head. Pearl collapses, lifeless. The knife scatters to the ground. Sam sinks to her knees, clutching her side as blood seeps through her fingers. Sam, no, stay with me, says Maxine. Sam's breathing is labored. She looks up at Maxine, a sad smile on her face. Guess I took one for the team, huh? Maxine tears a piece of her shirt, trying to staunch the bleeding. You're not dying on me, Sam. Not after all this. Sam grabs Maxine's hand, her grip weak. Maxine, you have to finish it. For both of us. Maxine's eyes fill with tears, but she nods resolutely. I will. I promise. Sam's hand slips from Maxine's grasp as her eyes close, her body goes limp. Maxine stands, wiping her tears away with a newfound determination. She grabs the shotgun and heads towards the exit, leaving the haunted house behind. Dawn in the abandoned amusement park. The first light of dawn breaks over the horizon, casting an eerie glow over the amusement park. Maxine walks through the deserted grounds, the shotgun slung over her shoulder. She stops at the entrance, looking back one last time at the park that claimed her friend. For you, Sam. Maxine turns and walks away, disappearing into the dawn light. Fade out.
Yeah. And this is, y'all, this is exactly why we do not use AI to write your scripts. This is literally a mirror of the one we just had before, where it's like, and they walk out. Blah, blah, blah. There's always a little bit of determination. There's always a little lesbian moment before.
It's always Dawn.
And it's always, you did it, or go finish this. Yeah. And then it's like, what are they finishing? Nothing. They're just walking.
Yep.
I'm gonna headcanon that it was like Maxine was like in the middle of like filming her next movie, and she's like, go finish this movie for us.
Oh, there you go.
Maybe Sam she studies film in college, and maybe they were actually, okay, hold on. All right. Maybe Sam experiencing so much horror in her life, she becomes a horror director, and she casts Maxine to be her star. And she's like, someone else can direct this, but Maxine, you're the star. You got to finish this. And so that's what she was doing. Sam died for her star because she was like, the film must go on. It must live on.
So it's kind of like Scream 3 in that way. Oh. So it's kind of like Scream 3 in that way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, yes.
well, yes. I believe that's a point for me.
I believe it's a point for you. I don't agree. And fucking Ghostface, like, Loser behavior.
B-side character, like couldn't do a damn thing.
He was a no one. He literally, they took off his mask and they said, "Who the fuck is that?" And then they moved on.
Literally, we still don't know who it is.
He don't matter, I guess. He's not the star here.
All right, so that leaves Maxine Minx with Laurie Strode and Ellen Ripley with Sydney Prescott. Those are our semi-finalists, baby.
I think these, like, I just love all these final girls we've done. But I think these are all really good ones to advance to the next one. I think we have some classics and we have the new and Maxine. I really like seeing, I'm really just excited to see these next 4 go against each other.
Me too. Oh, and I'm sorry that you're disappointed, but I'm glad that Sam did not make it to the semifinals because it feels correct to only have one girl from Scream move on.
Now, hold on, crazy conversation. Just to punctuate on this.
Yeah.
Who would you put Sydney versus Sam? Who would you have backed?
Probably Sydney.
Because, like, we have had them in crossovers, like, they've been in movies together.
Yeah, because in my head, if Sam is going to end up being the killer, we saw that in Scream 4.
Oh, wait, we actually have an answer to this. It's Sydney because Spyglass killed Melissa Pereira.
Oh my God.
And they took out Sam, literally.
Yeah, we're going, it's a little meta, but yeah.
One more final. Fuck you, Spyglass.
Truly.
Fuck you.
Truly.
I see, in my world, I would have said that they were going to take out the old guard for the new guard if Spyglass wasn't an awful demonic entity that needs to be defeated. I would have said that they probably would have, in the finale of the next trilogy, killed Sydney or sent Sydney, like, away or something happened to let Sam be the final girl.
Yep.
So I would have backed Sam in a Sydney versus Sam battle.
I wouldn't have.
And we'll never know. We'll never know.
No.
Until the next time, if we shuffle them both back into the next one, which we probably won't because we have enough other final girls. But.
Yeah.
All right.
So I'm in the lead.
You are in the lead, but not for long, bitch.
So you have 2 points. I have 3 points.
Yeah. And I'm coming for you, bitch. I'm coming for you, baby.
Come on me, bitch.
Well, yes. Well, both.
¿Por qué no los dos?
That's for our after podcast situation. Wait, you all aren't subscribed to our after podcast situation? Wait.
That's not a thing yet. That's not a thing yet. That is just that was just a thought plucked from my brain.
What is the slutty streaming service that that's like a video game one, like Joystick with X's or something like that, or is it something else? You know, where you could be like
Yeah.
It's Twitch but slutty. What is that one?
I don't remember, but I checked it out for a minute there, but there were literally only 10 people streaming at any given time, if that, less than 10.
I have a mutual who's like actually very attractive, and I'm like, you probably should be pulling in way more number. Like, I clicked over real quick, and I mean, his whole entire thing is he just plays in his jockstrap and like touches his bulge or whatever. So it's not like actual like nudity, but it was like a small a number that I was like, you deserve more than this. This service is probably not doing justice.
No.
But I think there is a world in which that is. The amount of people who paid us on Twitch to take our shirts off, there is a world for this.
Well, I feel like half the time I told, when I was streaming consistently, regularly, and I was like telling people in the real world that I streamed, 50% of the time the question is like, are you naked? And I'm like, what do you fucking mean, am I naked?
What are you talking about? No, bitch. What do you mean?
So, I think the market is there. I mean, all of these gay nerds would love to mesh OnlyFans and Twitch together.
It's coming soon. There's a market, and I feel like we are going to see that boom, but I can't even remember the name of that service.
No, I can't either. No.
Anyways, well, we hope you enjoyed this comeback for the semifinals. I am stoked. One more time, we have Sydney Prescott, Ellen Ripley, Laurie Strode, and Maxine Minx. Tell us who you are backing, who you think is your final girl's favorite final girl, who's the final girl of all final girls. Let us know. And come back next time.
Yeah.
Find us on socials.
If you're enjoying the podcast, subscribe on YouTube, like and subscribe, because, you know, that's still a thing. Comment on the videos, comment on our TikTok, find us there. We are having a lot of fun with this, and we would love for it to get a little bit bigger and grow. So if you're enjoying it, interact with us where you can and when you can, if you want.
That'd be great. We'd love that.
Yeah. So on that note, we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. And
bye sluts.